The alien sky was blue, but not like Earth. It was too bright, too clean. A woman walked slowly under that strange sky, carrying a baby in her arms. Her clothes were torn. Her face was pale. Dust covered her skin. Her eyes were tired, but her feet kept moving. Behind her, a small boy followed. His legs were weak. His stomach growled loudly. He had not eaten in 2 days. The woman finally reached the gate of a large alien farm. Tall purple trees grew around it. Machines floated in the air, spraying water and light. Alien workers, with green skin and large black eyes, picked fruit from strange plants. Everything looked fresh, alive, rich. The woman did not belong here, walked up to the gate and spoke. Her voice shook. "Please, help me." 2 alien guards turned. One of them pointed a long silver stick at her. "No humans allowed," the guard said. "Go back." She didn't move. She fell to her knees. "My children are hungry," she whispered. "I will work. I'll clean your house. I'll sleep on the floor. I'll work your fields. I'll warm your bed. Just feed my starving kids." The guards stared. One of them laughed, but the other looked confused. "Stay here," he said, then walked away. The woman sat on the ground. She held her baby close. The boy sat beside her and leaned on her shoulder. Minutes passed. Then, a tall alien walked toward them. His skin was dark blue. His eyes were golden. He wore fine clothes and had many rings on his fingers. "I am Krayla," he said. "This is my land." He looked down at the woman. "You are human," she nodded. "Yes, from Earth." Krayla raised an eyebrow. "I thought your kind was dead." "Almost," she said softly. "Earth is gone. Poisoned air. No food. No clean water. Many died. Some of us escaped. But we are lost." Krayla looked at the boy. "What's his name?" "Rin." "And the baby?" "Sil." Krayla was silent for a moment. Then he nodded. "You will work. I will give you food. A bed. Not soft, but safe. Your children will eat if you obey." The woman lowered her head. "I will obey." "Good," Krayla said. "Follow me." The alien farm was huge. Machines did most of the work, but some places needed hands. The woman worked hard. She carried boxes, cleaned the barn, washed tools, and helped in the kitchen. She didn't complain. Her children were given a small room and simple food. Bread, fruit, water. Not much, but enough to live. Rin smiled again. Sil stopped crying. Every night, the woman lay down on a cold bed and closed her eyes. Her hands hurt, her back ached, but she was thankful. One evening she walked past the barn. She heard a noise, a soft cry. She stopped and listened. It was not an animal. It was human. She looked around. No one was there. The barn door was locked, but she saw a small opening near the ground. She crawled under it. Inside the barn, it was dark and cold. Strange tools hung from the walls. Then she saw it. A cage. Inside, a human man sat on the floor. His head was down. His arms were thin. His clothes were torn. Another cage held a woman barely breathing. The Earth woman gasped. Suddenly, a light turned on. "You shouldn't be here," said a deep voice. She turned. Krayla stood at the door. He smiled. "You work hard," he said. "You're not like other humans." What is this?" she asked. "My research," Krayla said calmly. "You are lucky. Others, not so much." The woman stepped back. Her heart raced. "Don't worry," Krayla said. "Your children are safe. For now." He walked toward her slowly. "Go back to your room," he said. "Forget what you saw." She nodded slowly and walked out, holding her breath. She didn't sleep that night. In the morning, she worked as usual. But now, she was afraid. She watched every corner. She kept her children close. What was this place? Why were humans locked in cages? Who was Krayla really? She stood outside, watching the sky. It was bright and clean. Too quiet. Something was wrong here, very wrong. And she was trapped. The morning was quiet. Too quiet. The woman moved like a shadow, her eyes scanning every corner of the alien farm. She still felt the cold air of the barn. She still saw the faces in the cages when she blinked. They were human. They were like her, but broken. Krayla watched her from the tower. His golden eyes followed her every move. "She knows," said his assistant, a short alien with silver skin. "Knows enough," Krayla replied. "But she has something I need." He smiled. Later that day, the woman sat in the kitchen, peeling strange alien fruit. Her hands worked, but her mind raced. Why were those humans locked up? Why were they so weak? And was she next? Then the door opened. Krayla entered. Everyone went silent. You come, he said to the woman. She stood slowly. Her legs were stiff. Her heart beat fast. She followed him out, down a hallway, into a quiet room with glass walls. The room looked out over the entire farm and the barn. He offered her a seat. She didn't sit. I saw your fear, Krayla said calmly. But fear can be useful. The woman didn't answer. Krayla poured himself a glowing drink. Earth humans are strange, he said. Some beg, some bite. You did both. I didn't bite anyone, she replied quietly. But you would, to protect your children. She didn't deny it. Krayla turned to face her. I won't lie, he said. What you saw in the barn, that is real. Those humans were given a choice. Just like you. The woman frowned. What choice? Krayla stepped closer. Serve, or starve, obey, or disappear. She didn't flinch. I already chose, she said. You feed my children. I work. Krayla smiled. Yes, but I need more than a worker now. He walked to a shelf and pulled down a small silver box. Inside were pictures, old Earth images, soldiers, crowds, war. You humans are dangerous, he said, but also valuable. The woman stared at the photos, her stomach turned. Earth's pain was now entertainment for aliens. What do you want from me? She asked. Krayla's voice lowered. Your loyalty, your silence, your help. He opened a drawer and pulled out a small necklace with a blinking red light. You will wear this. It tracks your location and your health. If you remove it, your children stop eating. The woman's jaw tightened. That's not help. That's a threat. No, Krayla said. It's a deal. She stared at the necklace. And then, she took it. She fastened it around her neck. It clicked. A soft beep followed. That night, the food in her children's bowls was doubled. Warm bread, cooked vegetables, clean water. Ryan smiled. We can stay here forever, Mama. She kissed his forehead. Sleep now. But she didn't sleep. Not even a little dot in the dark. She walked again. Quiet. Careful. She reached the barn. Door locked. She backed away. Then she heard it. A whisper. Pissed. Hey. She turned. In the shadows stood a man. Human. Dirty, thin. But awake. You're new, he whispered. And they trust you. She froze. You don't know what this place is, the man said. But I do. She stepped closer. Who are you? Name's Lex. Was a soldier. Now I'm livestock. She stared. They keep us for breeding, he said. Strong humans, warriors, fighters. They study us, use us. When we're no good, they take our kids. The woman's breath caught. Lex pointed to her necklace. They're watching you now. Every word. He backed into the dark. Be careful, Mother. Then he was gone. The next day, Krayla gave her a new job. She would serve food to the alien guards. Don't speak, he said. Just listen. So she listened, and she heard things. 2 more Earth ships landed last night. The new female has strong DNA. Krayla wants her to stay fertile. Her hand shook as she poured drinks. She was not a worker. She was property, but something inside her changed, not fear, not hate. Something colder, clearer. She looked out the window and saw Rin, playing with a small alien child. Syl slept in a safe crib, her belly full. For now. But for how long? That night, she wrote something on a piece of old cloth. 1 word. Escape. She left it under a rock by the barn. When she returned the next morning, the cloth was gone. In its place was a symbol, a human, one hope. It still lived here, buried, small, but alive. And she would feed that. 2. The nights on this alien world were too quiet. The woman could hear every breath, every footstep, every whisper in the dark. Since the day she found the cages, the barn haunted her dreams. Now, it called to her again. 1 hour after the lights went out, she moved. Careful, silent. She left Rin and Syl sleeping, covered them with a blanket, kissed their heads. Then she slipped out the door. The guards didn't see her, or maybe they did, and just didn't care. She reached the barn. The sky above was full of alien stars. No moon, no clouds. Just a sea of cold lights. She crawled under the barn, through the same small opening as before. Inside, the air was heavy, like something was waiting. She lit a small light, one of the alien tools Krayla gave her. It glowed. Blue dot. She moved through the barn, slowly past machines, past tools, past cages. Empty this time, or so she thought. Back again. A voice echoed, the same voice as before. Lex. She turned. He stepped from the shadows. He looked tired. but more alive than last time. You left the cloth, she said. He nodded. You left hope. He smiled, just a little. Hope is dangerous here. They sat in silence. Then she asked, how many of us are here? Lex's face darkened. Dozens, maybe more, but most are like ghosts now. No fight left. Some were taken. Others disappeared. We stopped counting. She clenched her fists. My children. They'll come for them, won't they? Lex didn't answer. He didn't have to. Why are they doing this? She asked. Because we're strong, fast, smart. They want our traits, our minds, our bodies. They think they can use us. Grow us like crops. Like animals. Worse, Lex said. They think we owe them. Suddenly, the light flickered. Lex turned serious. We don't have much time. I'm going to show you something. But if you talk, if you tell anyone, I won't. He nodded. Then he pulled back a pile of boxes near the far wall. There, a small hatch. Metal. Hidden. He opened it. A warm breeze rose from the dark hole. She crawled in behind him. Beneath the barn was a tunnel. Not alien-made. Human hands dug this. Long ago. At the end of the tunnel was a small room. A candle burned low. Inside were 4 more humans. A woman with short hair. A boy with one eye. An older man who coughed with every breath. And a girl, maybe 14, holding a sharpened stick like a weapon. They looked up when she entered. Lex spoke first. She's the one I told you about. The mother. The short-haired woman stood. Then she's the key. They told her everything. Krayla wasn't just a farmer. He was a collector, a scientist, a buyer of humans. Other aliens brought him people from destroyed Earth colonies. Sometimes whole families. Sometimes just children. He studied them, used them, traded them. All with a smile. The woman listened. Her chest felt like stone. She looked at the little girl with the stick. How long have you been here? 6 months, the girl whispered. They took my parents. I heard them screaming, and then nothing. We're planning something, Lex said. A way out. There's an old transport ship in the forest. Krayla doesn't use it anymore. Too small for him, but big enough for us. The woman asked, why haven't you used it yet? We need a code. A key. Something Krayla has. Maybe in his room. Maybe on his wrist. We can't get close. They all looked at her. She understood. You want me to steal it? Lex nodded. You work in the house. You bring him food. You're trusted. She was quiet. Then she said, if I do this, we all leave. Not just you. I take my children. I take the girl. Everyone. The old man coughed. If we make it out, Earth is gone. Where will we go? She looked up at the roof of the tunnel. At the stars beyond it. I don't know, she said, but it will be better than here. Back in her room, just before sunrise, she lay down next to Rin. She looked at Syl's small hands, curled like flower petals. And she whispered to the ceiling, I will not be your slave. I will not be your animal. I am human. I remember who I am now. Then she closed her eyes. And waited for morning. The mornings had started to feel fake. Too quiet. Too smooth. Too clean. The mother, no longer just a worker, had learned to smile. With her mouth and hide fear in her eyes. She served breakfast to Krayla like every other day. She poured his drink. She nodded at his orders. She didn't speak unless spoken to. But now, she was watching. Krayla sat in his glass room, tapping on a glowing tablet. Strange symbols flashed on the screen. He didn't look at her when he spoke. You've been loyal. She said nothing. You feed my guards. You clean my tools. You keep your children quiet. He finally turned his golden eyes to water. Deserves a reward. She didn't like the way he said it. Later that day, a drone flew to her room. It dropped a small bracelet into her hands. Black, smooth, and cold. Wear this, the message said. For your promotion. She placed it on her wrist. It locked with a snap. She was taken to a building she had never entered before. It stood behind the farm, quiet, hidden by trees. She passed 2 large doors and walked down into the dark. The air smelled like metal and chemicals. She heard machines humming and something else. Crying. Kraylor was already inside, waiting. He wore a white coat now, not a farmer, a scientist. He smiled like a proud parent. Welcome to the real heart of my work, he said. She looked around. Glass rooms, computers, tables with straps, screens showing human faces sleeping, twitching, hooked to tubes. What is this? She asked. My experiment, he said softly. The future. He guided her to one of the rooms. Inside, a young human woman floated in a tank, eyes closed, wires in her skin. A soft light blinked around her. She came from Mars, Colony 6, Kraler said. Healthy, smart, pregnant. We are testing if human offspring can be raised in alien systems. The mother stepped back. Kraler didn't stop. We test memory, pain resistance, body strength, hunger cycles, emotional patterns. Humans are interesting creatures. He turned and stared at her. You are the most interesting. She wanted to run, but the bracelet on her wrist began to glow red. Kraler saw her look. Don't worry. It only alerts me when you lie, or try to escape. He stepped closer. You have strong children. Healthy, natural. That is rare. I believe your body holds answers. She felt sick. I'm not part of your experiment, she said. Kraler tilted his head. Oh, but you are. That night, she returned to the hidden tunnel. Lex and the others were waiting. They listened in silence. As she told them everything, Lab. The woman in the tank. The bracelet. The plan to use her body next. The girl with the stick looked up. Are they going to hurt your baby? The mother nodded. If I don't act soon, they'll take her. The older man whispered. Then it's time. Lex pulled out a torn piece of paper. A sketch of a ship. This is our chance, he said. The escape ship. We know where it is. But we still need the code. I'll get it, the mother said. They all stared at her. You could die, Lex said. She touched her wrist. I'll die if I don't. The next day, Kraler gave her a new task. Clean his private room. She entered alone. A desk, a screen, a long silver stick on the wall. She moved fast but careful. She opened drawers, scanned for anything strange. Then she found it. A small white card, with symbols and numbers. The ship's access code. She slipped it into her clothes. Then she froze. Behind her, the door clicked shut. Kraler's voice came from a speaker above. Stealing is disappointing, he said. Her bracelet lit up, glowing bright red. A soft electric buzz rose in her ears. Her knees weakened. She fell. Kraler's voice whispered. Test begins. Now. Pain shot through her wrist, through her arm, through her chest. She screamed, but she did not let go of the card. She bit her lip, until it bled, and then dashed nothing. Darkness, silence. When she woke up, she was lying on a cold floor. The card was gone. The bracelet still burned. Kraler stood above her. I gave you food. I gave your children safety. He leaned down, his voice sharp. You gave me betrayal. He turned and walked out. The door slammed shut. She lay there, shaking, but her hand closed tight. Inside her fist was a second card. The real one. She smiled through the pain. Because now, the escape could begin. And this time, she wouldn't just run. She would fight. The pain in her wrist had faded, but the fire in her chest had not. She sat on the cold floor of her room, holding a tiny piece of cloth in one hand. The real access code, hidden deep inside her clothes. She had risked everything. And now, the plan could begin. Rin sat near her, building shapes with broken tools. Syl slept peacefully, beside a folded blanket. They didn't know what was coming, and that made it harder. But she had already made her choice. She was no longer just a mother. She was now the spark. That night, she slipped out once more. This time faster, sharper, more careful. She made it to the hidden tunnel beneath the barn. Lex and the others were waiting. They saw the look in her eyes before she even spoke. You got it, Lex said. She nodded, and held out the folded cloth. Lex took it carefully, and opened it. One glance, and his face changed. This is it. The key to the ship. The girl with the stick smiled for the first time in weeks. The old man spoke softly. Then we move tonight. Lex shook his head. No, not yet. We need to disable the tracking field. If we run now, we'll be shot out of the sky before we leave the ground. The mother asked, where is the field? In the tower. Top floor. Guarded. She looked at the cloth, then back at Lex. Then we go there next. The next morning, Kraler greeted her like nothing had happened, as if she had not stolen, as if she had not screamed in his lab. You're stronger than I thought, he said. I've had to be, she replied calmly. He sipped his drink and smiled. That's what makes you so valuable. Her fingers itched to throw the glass in his face, but she didn't. She simply bowed, played the part. For one more day later, in the kitchen, she passed a note to a young alien worker, one who had once looked away when her child cried. She didn't know if he could be trusted, but she had no choice. The note said only 4 words. Storm starts at midnight. The plan was simple. Break into the tower, disable the field, reach the ship, escape, but nothing about it would be easy. That night, the rebels moved like shadows. The mother carried Syl wrapped tightly to her chest. Rin walked beside her, holding the hand. The girl with the stick led the way. Others followed. 23 in all. Each step was a risk, each breath a prayer. The tower loomed ahead, its lights like angry eyes. Guards circled it. Drones floated above. But the mother remembered every path, every shift change, every blind corner. She had been watching for weeks. They reached the side entrance. Lex used a stolen keycard. Silent click. Inside they climbed stairs quickly, quietly. 1 level. Then 2. Then 3. Finally, the top floor. The control room. 2 guards stood there. Big. Armed. Alert. No time to hide. Lex jumped first. The girl followed. Her stick, now a blade. The fight was quick. Brutal. 1 guard hit the alarm. But not fast enough. The mother ran to the console. "Where's the field control?" she shouted. Lex pointed. The red panel. She slammed her hand on the screen. Buttons flashed. Symbols glowed. Her bracelet buzzed. Pain surged up her arm, but she didn't stop. Then, silence. The buzzing stopped. The field lights outside the window blinked and went dark. She had done it. For the first time in years. The sky above was open. They ran. The farm was waking now. Alarms echoing. Lights flashing. Krayla would know. He would come. They reached the forest. The ship stood ahead. Old, dusty, hidden behind vines. But alive. Lex entered the code. The door opened with a hiss. Everyone piled in. Children, mothers, broken fighters, and hope. The mother turned back. Still outside. Rin called, "Mama, come." But she didn't move, because standing on the hill was Kraylor. Behind him, 2 guards, and one of the alien children. Rin had played with Krayla, raised his voice. "You can't run from evolution," he said. "You are the past." The mother stared back, then raised her chin. "No," she said. "I am the fire you lit. And now it burns you." She pressed the panel beside the ship door. A soft hum. Turrets on the side of the ship spun and fired. The hill exploded. Into smoke. She didn't look back. She stepped inside. The door closed behind her. The ship rose. Slow at first, then faster. Through the trees. Past the towers. Beyond the stars. Syl cried once, then slept. Rin stared out the window. Wide eyed. The mother held them both and whispered, "We're not free yet, but we're not theirs anymore." The stars were no longer beautiful. Not to her now. They were reminders of cages, of stolen lives, of everything she had lost. But tonight, the stars saw something new. A stolen ship, a broken people, and one mother who had started a war. The ship trembled as it sped through space. The mother sat in the pilot's chair, Syl asleep in her lap, Rin strapped beside her, his eyes wide with wonder and fear. Behind them, the others rested, many too weak to speak. Lex stood near the door, watching the radar. "Anyone following us?" she asked. "Not yet," he said. "But they will." She nodded. And tightened a grip on the controls. This wasn't over. Not even close. They landed the ship on a frozen moon. Quiet. Hidden. No lights. No signals. A place to breathe. For now, the rebels moved inside an old mining base. Broken walls. Cold air. But safe. The girl with the stick found working lights. The old man fixed a heater. For the first time in weeks, they felt human again. Lex gathered them in the center room. Everyone watched the mother. They expected her to speak. She stood slowly, still holding Syl. Her voice was soft, but steady. "We escaped. That was the first step." She looked around, but escape is not enough. We can't run forever. Some nodded. Some cried. Some just stared. She continued. "We were taken, used, caged, hurt, and for what? Because we are human. Because we are strong." She paused, then said it clearly. "Now we show them what humans do when we've had enough." Lex stepped forward. "We've heard rumors. Other farms. Other labs. Humans like us." The old man added. Krayla wasn't alone. He was part of something bigger. The girl with the stick pointed at the radar screen. "We hit back, or they find us first." The room fell silent. Then Rin spoke up, his voice small but clear. "Let's stop the bad ones, so no more kids get taken." The mother looked at him. Something inside her broke and rebuilt in the same breath. She nodded. "Then the rebellion begins." Over the next few days, they worked. They trained. They planned. They built weapons from scrap. Lex taught the strong ones how to move without being seen. The old man showed them how to jam alien tech. The mother, she learnt the ship. Every wire, every control, every hidden switch. One night, a signal came through weak, broken. A voice, is anyone out there? Human Colony 7. We need help. They've come again. The room went still. Another group. Still alive, still fighting. The girl said, we have to go. Lex shook his head. It's a trap. Could be Krayla's people. The mother stared at the blinking screen. If it's a trap, she said, we spring it. They tracked the signal to a nearby planet. Rocky, storm-covered. No cities, just a signal. They landed at night. Lex and 2 others scouted ahead. The mother waited inside the ship with the children and a small team. Then the sound came. Not human. Wind. But drones. It was a trap. Krayla's voice echoed from the forest. Through speakers. Did you think you could steal from me and vanish? You are still mine. The mother stood at the ship door. She looked at Rin. At Syl. At all the others who had risked everything. Then she stepped outside. She didn't hide. She didn't run. She faced the trees and shouted, I was never yours. Then she raised the weapon Lex gave her and fired the first shot. The battle was loud, fast, and messy. Explosions lit up the sky. Drones dropped like metal rain. One rebel was hit. Another saved a child. Lex fought like a ghost, moving through shadows. And in the center of it all, the mother. No longer afraid, no longer begging. She fought with fury, with purpose, with love. Kraylor never appeared. Only his machines. But the message was clear. The rebellion had begun. After the fight, they found something strange. An alien tablet left behind. Inside was a list. Of other locations. Other human camps. Other buyers. This was bigger than Krayla. Much bigger. The mother stared at the stars. Above, she wasn't just running anymore. She was chasing, one name at a time. One cage at a time. Until the last door was broken. The galaxy didn't notice the rebellion at first. A single ship, a group of weak, starving humans, no home, no army. Just survivors. But it started with a whisper. And whispers can become storms. The mother sat in the pilot's chair once more, her hands steady, her eyes sharper than ever. Rin stood beside her, wearing a patched vest and a headset too big for his head. Syl laughed in the back, playing with the girl and her shtick. This was no longer just survival. This was war. The alien tablet they recovered listed dozens of names, not places, buyers, or aliens, who purchased human lives like tools. Each one operated in secret. But now they would be hunted. Their ship had a new name, carved into the side with a blade. The rising wasn't fast, it wasn't pretty, but it was theirs, and it had become something terrifying. A symbol. They struck their first target at dawn, a floating lab over a gas giant, clean and silent inside. 4 children were kept in a cold glass room. One had been trained to obey commands. Like a robot. One had forgotten her name. The rebels stormed in. The guards didn't even know humans could fight. They found out. The lab burned behind them as they flew away. Children safe, hearts heavier, but awake. Soon other voices started reaching out. We heard what you did. Are you real? We want to join. And they came. From ruined colonies. From mining prisons. From black market cages. Humans. Mothers. Fathers. Orphans. Soldiers. They came with nothing. They came angry. They came ready. Krayla disappeared after his last trap failed, but his name still carried fear, until the day the mother found the signal. A ship. His ship. Docked in a rich alien world, pretending to be something else. She smiled, and for the first time, her voice did not tremble when she said, set a course. Let's finish this. The final attack was fast and loud, not stealth. Rage. Drones fell. Gates broke. The rising flew through fire. The rebels stormed Krayla's fortress like thunder, and in the middle of the chaos, the mother walked alone into his chamber. He sat there, dressed in gold, still believing he was above it all. I fed your children, Krayla said calmly. She stared at him, and then tried to steal them. I studied your kind. You are useful. She stepped closer. No, we're dangerous. Krayla reached for his weapon. Too slow. The mother fired first. One shot right. Between his golden eyes. It wasn't revenge. It was justice. They didn't just destroy his base. They broadcasted everything. The labs, the cages, the files, the truth, too. Every system in the quadrant. Aliens watched in horror as the truth spread. Humanity was not broken. Humanity was not gone. Humanity was rising. Weeks passed, then months. The rising became a fleet. Rebels became leaders. Slaves became soldiers. Mothers became legends. And Earth, still gone, still dead. But now, not forgotten. One night Rin asked her, will we ever build a new Earth? She looked out the window at a green moon far away. Maybe, she said. But we don't need dirt to be human. He tilted his head. Then what do we need? She smiled. Each other. She stood before her people. Now hundreds. Maybe more. Some wore armor. Some still limped from old wounds. But they all stood tall. We were taken, she said. We were used. But we rose. Her voice echoed through the room. We don't beg anymore. We don't crawl. We don't hide. She raised her fist. We rise. The room thundered with one word. Rise. And across the stars, wherever a human heard that word, they stood up to